Hi, so this is probably, well, we're nearing the end of my my job story time videos. This will probably be the second to last, so probably one more video next Tuesday / Wednesday. Should be one more, there'll probably be one more video job-wise. I'm not going to do my current job just because it's my current job. Maybe if I move on from this job and end up doing something else, or end up just not working somehow, if that becomes possible, which right now it's definitely not a thing that's possible, but whatever the case, if I eventually end up moving on in one way or another from my current job, then I will maybe come up with a story time about my current job. But as of right now, that isn't the case, and since it's my current job, I feel like I can't fully do a story time about it, and there isn't any certain big event that's happened that I could just do a story time on that event. So I'm not going to plan on doing my current story time about my current job, but today's story time is about when I worked at a daycare, and there's only one other job that I had after that before my current job. So there's just 2 story times left, this one and one more. But, and they're all kind of somewhat related, but like I said, today's video, which is what I'm going to be talking about, is about my daycare job, or my job working at the daycare. So, there isn't a huge thing with that either, but just some things about it. I got the job, as I said in the last video, I got the job. I had left the hotel. I had been looking for a job that was a little more stable on hours. I was thinking maybe something a little closer to I didn't want to teach, but I went to school to be a elementary school teacher, like pre-K through 3rd grade is what I was able to teach, and I think it's expired now because it was back in 2013, and I think it was good for like 5 years or something. I don't know, maybe 4 years, 3 years, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's expired, whatever the case. And so that was a thing. But I didn't want to teach for other reasons, if you want to ask why. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'm not going to go into it here because it's just not, and it's not really necessary for this video. But I didn't want to teach, but I love kids, which is why I went. I love being around kids and stuff, which is why I went into teaching to begin with. But leaving the hotel job, I wanted something that was a little more stable on hours, and I could know when I was going to be there, when I was going to get off, and I wouldn't have to just wonder. And also the days were set, because of the hotel. I mean, hotels are open 24/7, 365 days a year, / 366 days a year, depending if it's a leap year. But anyway, so you could work any hours, any day of any year, type thing, pretty much. By day, the hours weren't set, and week by week, the days weren't set. So you kind of had to plan. You had to see your schedule and then plan from there. You couldn't really plan way ahead unless you asked days off. So there was that. The good thing was we didn't have a certain number of days we could ask off, but they preferred not to ask, that we didn't ask a whole bunch of days off. But anyway, that being said, I wanted something a little more stable where I knew when I'd go into work, when I would leave work, and which specific days, like preferably Monday through Friday, I would work during the week. So this job at the daycare, I worked 9 to 5 or 9 to 4, I don't know. But whatever the case, I had set hours. Sometimes we could have up to 12 kids in our class, and there was no leaving early if you had 12 kids. You could have 6 kids per teacher, and usually we had 2 teachers in the room, so we could have up to 12, which was crazy, but I'll get into that. So anyway, the hours were set. I worked Monday through Friday, and yeah, it was just so nice to have a stable set hour situation. I could plan around that. I knew when I'd get off. every week I would work. We got holidays off because it's like a, I don't know, government-ish thing. We got like the big holidays off, and like government type holidays we got off, which was nice. So I had those off, and yeah, as far as that went, it was really nice, and I could count on the same hour, or like the same pay every 2 weeks, and it was pretty nice. Although the downside was, like I said, the other part of the reason why I went to a daycare rather than some other like 9-to-5 job was that I figured, since it was close to my, like, it was more related to my degree, that maybe I'd get paid more because I had the degree. But I don't think I got paid any more than I worked at the hotel, which is a pretty lame situation because that's dumb. I had a 4-year degree and it didn't even help me in my area of expertise. So for future reference, a little side note, my parents told me, I think after I decided, it was like halfway through college, I decided that I wasn't going to teach anymore, or like once I graduated I wasn't going to teach. They encouraged me to finish out the degree, partly because they told me that as long as you have a degree, that'll help you get a job and get hired, like a higher paying job, just because you have a 4-year degree. Maybe in other degrees that helps, but as far as teaching, that doesn't even help in your area that you went to school for. It doesn't have like any effect. So maybe an effect on whether or not you get hired, but definitely not on the pay. So as far as whether or not you get hired, if it's your area. If it's not your area, it means nothing to them. So if that affects you, if that affects any kind of choice you're making at all, take that into account, because I was told by a few people, I'm pretty sure, that as long as you have a 4-year degree, that'll mean a lot to employers. I don't think it means anything to anybody anymore, honestly. But anyway, I went there, I got paid about the same amount, but the hours were set, and that was good. So I worked with this lady. I don't really want to say her name. She was nice. I got along with her fine. We didn't have any problems. But I don't know if I should say her name. It's a somewhat recent job, and she's my friend on Facebook. But I worked with this lady. She was really nice. She was probably in her 40s, I think. I think she was in her 40s. She had a couple kids and a handful of grandkids. In fact, she's gotten a couple more, like at least 1 or 2 more since I left the daycare. And I think at least one of our grandkids were at the daycare, maybe more than that now. But one of them was on and off at the daycare when I went, because depending whether his mom worked, I think, or not. Like when his mom was pregnant. Anyway, it's not important. But her grandkid was in our class for at least part of the time that I was there. And my class, by the way, I should probably mention, her and I's class was... it was called the pre-tot class, and it was the ages between 1 and 2. So usually about when they turned 1, or some kids a little before they turned 1. In one kid's case, he was actually not my favorite. No, he was my favorite. I didn't have favorites, but if I had favorites, he would be one of my favorites. And he was so cute. I'm going to go ahead and say his name, because I mean, you don't know what daycare it is, and I'm not going to say his last name, but one of the kids' his name was Ben, and he was so cute. He was adorable. He started in our class at 9 months, maybe 10 months. I think he started at 10 months, but he was walking at 9 months, which is crazy. And so like he was like kind of walking all over, not literally, but pretty much walking all over all the other kids in the baby room, because he's 9 months and he's walking, and most babies don't walk before like probably 11 or 12 months. So he was walking, and so because of that, he was just developmentally pretty far along. He was doing really well for as young as he was. So I'm pretty sure he started in our class at 10 months. And unlike some of the kids that started in our class at a year old, he was using a sippy cup, I think. In our room, some of the 1-year-olds that started in our room were still using bottles, and some of them still needed warmed up, which is just crazy to me. But this 10-month-old Ben, he was walking. He was just, I mean, if you want to call it mature, just as mature as the 1-year-olds, and was drinking from a sippy cup, and he could have like everything that kids in our class had, like everything from the lunch. There wasn't anything his parents were like, oh no, don't give him that, because we served, the daycare served lunch. And so it was just, his parents were very laid back. He was the second child, so that helped. A lot of the kids we had were the first children, and as you may or may not know, the way parents are with the first child is often way different from like the second child on. And I think they get more lackadaisical the further along, and like first or the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th child, the further they get along in children, the more laid back they are. But first time parents were, and I think in general are, a little more like touchy about certain things. But he was a second child, and his brother had just moved up, I think, when I started the job at the daycare. And his brother, I don't want to say his brother's name because you may or may not associate them together, but his brother would always say hi. I'd be like, hi Katie, when he'd see me in the hall, and he had never been in my class. He just kind of knew me from, I guess, the classes kind of being together in the outdoor play area and stuff together. I don't know, but whatever the case, he was really nice, and he always said hi to me and stuff, and he was really cute. I don't know how well behaved he was or not. I assume decently well, but I don't know. But Ben, he was just so cute. And a lot of times we had certain kids that would latch on to certain teachers in our room, because there was also a third teacher in our room in the afternoons for like 4 hours. And once the other teacher left, and the second teacher that came in for the afternoon, she was close to my age. I think she's maybe a couple or a few years younger than me. But we talked a lot and stuff. We had a little more in common. She was going to school, or had gone to school for some kind of education, and I don't know, we talked a lot. But the different kids would latch on to the different teachers, and some of us favored some of the kids more, so that would cause that kid to latch on to us more. And so Ben kind of latched on to me. Maybe the well, Sarah, I'll just say it. The afternoon teacher's name was Sarah, and she's my friend on Facebook still. But he kind of might have latched on to her a little bit when I left. But Ben was kind of one of like my kids. We kind of connected, and he was super cute, and he was very well behaved. He didn't cry, like hardly ever, even if he fell down. So if he did cry, you knew something was wrong, because he never cried. He was just, I don't know, just a really good kid. He was just, like I said, he was like advanced. He was walking at 9 months, and he was adorable and well behaved most of the time. Well, there were times that he was one of our biters, I think, but we had a few of those, and that was a situation, especially when we had 12 kids, because it's hard to watch all 12 kids, even with 2 people, and avoid biting, especially when some of them just went towards, just liked to bite. But anyway, I really liked Ben. And we had another kid who was a little more fussy. He got better the longer I was there, but he got attached. He was a little more attached. And when he first started, his mom or dad would drop him off and then leave. Usually his dad, but sometimes his mom. I think they both worked at the college or something. Maybe she worked somewhere else. But whatever the case, he would get dropped off, and he would throw a huge fit. And he had one of those baby cries, or like 1-year-old cries, whatever, that was just super loud and grating on your ears and drove me crazy. and tried not to baby him too much, I think, but distract him and stuff, and I feel like I was a lot of the time the one that was able to get him distracted or whatever. Maybe I did baby him, I don't remember. Honestly, it's been a little while. But he and I ended up being close and stuff too, although the downside with him was because he had that separation anxiety type situation. If I were to leave the room and he was in there, then he would throw a huge fit. So a lot of times, especially if it was like me and Sarah in the room or something, and we had like 7 kids, or even if we didn't have, even if we weren't over numbers, if I had to leave the room, I would take him with me so that he wouldn't be in the room throwing a huge fit and taking all of Sarah's attention. So yeah, those were 2 of my, if I had favorites, those would be 2 of my favorites. But so I really liked some of the kids. Sarah and I would talk about different things, about our lives and stuff, and Sarah, she wasn't as, I've always really wanted kids, and she was kind of wanting to wait a little bit. Like once I got married, I wanted to have kids right away, which we didn't, but Sarah was like, I'm more on the thing where I want to wait a year, and her husband wanted to have kids right away, but she wanted to wait a little while, although she said she wasn't, they would just kind of see what would happen. But anyway, that's the point. But being at the daycare kind of made her want kids less, but it made me want to have kids more. I mean, I didn't want to have 12 kids at once, like birth 12 kids at once and have the same 12 kids of the same age, but each individual kid, or certain individual kids at least, made me really ready to have kids, and like not just be able to see them at the daycare, to like be with them all day. And I love kids. Kids are adorable. And we did have some that were less of my favorite than others, and I won't name any of those names, but we did have one, we had one situation, it was kind of funny. We had one situation where there were two girls that were in our class, and I really liked one, and the other one I liked them both, but one was cuter, a little bit cuter, and mainly just because the mom was a little, but anyway, I liked both the girls. They were both girls, and I liked them both. Well, their moms, and both these girls were first kids. Their moms, like, each of the girls was like their parents' first kid. And the moms were like best friends, or like really good friends. And so they'd talk to each other at night and stuff. And I thought whatever, that this happened because they were around each other so often. But one of the girls was prone to biting the other girl, and it happened a decent amount of time, like enough that we sometimes had to bring a third person into the room just to watch the little girl, so that, like, well, we could watch the most of the kids, and this person could watch just that girl so that she wouldn't bite her friend. So, because they spent time with each other outside of the daycare too and stuff, since their moms were friends. There was, I don't know if I was there when it happened, but like when the mom was telling about this, but the mom of the biter came in and was saying how, and because we'd always send incident reports home with the kid who bit and with the kid who was bit, along with any other, like if there was any other incident that happened, if a kid fell and got a bruise or something, any kind of thing that happened, we'd send an incident report home. But in the biting case, the biter and the bitee parents both got incident reports. So it's just funny to think about. Not the biting, but just this situation I'm going to tell you. So the mom of the biter came in, and she had of course been getting incident reports for her daughter biting, and she came in and told, I think the other lady that I worked with in the morning, she told her that her friend, the other mom, had called her and complained that her daughter keeps getting bit, at the daycare, and she's just upset and blah 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 blah, and was saying how she didn't have the heart to tell her friend, the other mom, that it was her daughter, the biter's daughter, her friend, that was doing the biting. So that was kind of funny, and she like kind of asked if like she should, and they're like, oh well, you don't have any obligation to tell, and we can't tell, so that's up to you. I don't know if she ever did tell her or not, but that was just a funny situation. My dog is barking. I hope she's still in the cage. I better end this soon. But yeah, the job was okay, but it got to the point where it was just too many kids at once, and it was just stressful, and I didn't like having so many kids. If we would only have like 5 a day or maybe 7 a day, then that would be alright, but having 12 was just too much for me, and then parents, and it was just aggravating. And there was just drama around the daycare because most of the workers there were girls, and I hope you believe me, but I am not one to get involved with drama, and most of the time I didn't know about drama till like it was over or whatever, because I tried not to get involved, but there was drama at the daycare in general. And of course there was favoritism, but by like the people in charge, but I mean I didn't really get involved with any of that, but it was a thing. There was favoritism, but that's alright. That wasn't the reason why I left. But eventually I decided to go on to just being a nanny, and I'd heard that a couple of the moms in the daycare that were of the kids in our class, a couple of the moms worked as nannies, and they got pretty good money for it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just leave the 12 kids, leave having to watch 12 kids a day, and go watch like 1 or 2 kids and maybe get paid a little bit more and not have all this stress. So that's what I did after that. I ended up getting a nanny job, which I'll talk about next week, but I think that's all I'm really going to say now. I got along with everybody. Yeah. But yeah, I liked being around. I liked the age. I didn't like it when I first started, the age so much. I wasn't a big fan of being in that room. But by the time I left, I liked the age a lot. I enjoyed that, but it was just the numbers that I didn't really care for. But if you have any questions about anything else, I didn't talk about everything that happened. So if you have any questions about the daycare or anything about my job there, you can put it in the comments below, and I will try to answer the best I would try to answer it as fast as I can, if I can answer it, which I probably can. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk more about it, but this is probably long enough, and I need to check on my dog, probably bring her in, and I need to start supper. So I will see you in the next video. I have an extra video coming up probably tomorrow, hopefully sometime this week. I have an unboxing video, but I'm going to be done for this video for today. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.